Hello and welcome to Whispered Legends. I am your storyteller, and I'm thrilled to have you here. Get ready to journey into tales of mystery, adventure, and the unknown. If you love stories that spark your imagination, you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a whisper. Now, let's begin today's tale. In the heart of the African savanna, two mighty creatures ruled the land, a rhinoceros named Ro, known for his massive frame and unyielding power, and a hippopotamus named Hippo, whose strength in the water was unrivaled. Their rivalry had simmered for years, with each claiming to be the strongest animal in the savanna. One hot afternoon, as the sun blazed above, the two met near a watering hole, the usual place where they clashed in competitive silence. This time, however, the tension in the air was palpable. It had been a long, dry season, and the resources around the savanna were becoming scarcer by the day. The once abundant lake was shrinking, and the animals were starting to get desperate. The two giants stared each other down, neither willing to back away. Ro snorted, stamping his hooves on the cracked earth. "I've been the strongest here for years, Hippo," he grumbled. "You're just a bloated water dweller. If you think you can outdo me, you're sorely mistaken." Hippo, who had been lounging near the water, slid his massive body into a standing position, shaking the dust from his skin. "Strength isn't just about size, Ro," he said, his deep voice rumbling. "I can hold my own just fine. Let's settle this once and for all." The challenge was set. They would test their strength in a series of contests that would prove who was the true champion of the savanna. The first contest was a simple one. Ro and Hippo were to pull on opposite ends of a massive vine tied to a sturdy tree. Each would pull with all their might, and the one who dragged the other across the line would be declared the winner. The two beasts squared off, their muscles rippling as they readied themselves. At the sound of a loud grunt, they each began pulling with all their might. Ro's immense strength powered through, dragging the vine toward him, but Hippo, with his wide, solid frame, dug his feet into the ground and fought back fiercely. The earth trembled under the force of their contest, but in the end, it was Ro who managed to inch forward, pulling Hippo across the line. Ro let out a triumphant roar, snorting in victory. "One down. Are you sure you want to continue, Hippo?" Hippo shook his head, unfazed. This was only round one. Let's see what happens next. For the next test, they stood before a large, ancient baobab tree. The challenge was simple: push the tree down. Ro, with his massive horned head, charged at the tree first. He lowered his head, his neck muscles straining as he rammed the tree with all his might. The force caused the tree to creak and shudder, but it didn't budge. He tried again, pushing harder, but the old tree remained rooted in the earth. Next, Hippo stepped forward, his wide body moving with surprising grace despite his bulk. He positioned himself against the tree, his powerful limbs planted firmly in the earth. He gave a mighty shove, and the baobab tree groaned in protest, but to everyone's astonishment, it didn't fall. After several attempts, it was clear that neither of them would succeed in this challenge. Breathing heavily, Hippo looked up at Ro. "Looks like neither of us can win this round. The tree is too strong for us both." Ro nodded, his chest heaving with effort. "Perhaps you're right, Hippo. But there's one more test left. Let's see if it's any different." For the final contest, they agreed to roll a massive log across a stretch of land. The log was enormous, the size of a small boulder, and rolling it over the rough terrain would require more than just brute strength. It would take teamwork and strategy. Ro pushed first, using his broad body to nudge the log forward. He could move it slightly but was quickly exhausted by the effort. Hippo, watching intently, stepped forward and began pushing with his wide, powerful frame. The two worked in silence, but soon, they realized that their combined efforts were yielding results. The log moved much more easily when they synchronized their movements, each using their unique strengths, Ro's brute force and Hippo's endurance in pushing from different angles. After several minutes of collaboration, they rolled the log across the finish line together, both breathing heavily but smiling in mutual respect. As the sun began to set over the savanna, casting long shadows over the two exhausted creatures, they stopped and looked at each other, a strange understanding passing between them. Ro, panting from the effort, turned to Hippo. "You know," he said, "I never thought I'd admit it, but you're not just a water dweller. You're strong, too, in your own way." Hippo grinned, his large mouth parting in a smile. "And you're not just some thick-skinned brute. You have more than strength. You have power. Together, we make a pretty good team." They stood there in silence for a moment, both reflecting on the truth of the competition. The real strength, they realized, didn't come from being the strongest individual, but from working together, each contributing their unique abilities. From that day forward, the rivalry between Ro the Rhinoceros and Hippo the Hippopotamus turned into an enduring friendship. They often collaborated in the months that followed, proving that true strength comes not from dominance, but from unity. Together, they safeguarded their territory, always ready to face any challenge that came their way. And so, the Savanna was reminded, strength is not measured by individual might, but by the power of cooperation and respect.